Hello everyone. Today I want to cover the day 2 of WPT World Championship, the tournament I played recently. So I started with about 260k, which was a pretty decent stack, still pretty deep. So let's see how that turned out. So one hand is I have ace queen offsuit on middle position, just standard raise to 12k, big blind calls, as they would call with a pretty wide range because of like small raise and ante in play. Flop queen 3-3. Big blind checks, I bet 15k. Okay, and this is a situation where I have a range advantage, but I don't have a nut advantage. So I should bet small. So and we have like 12 plus 12 plus 6 plus 3, 24 plus 9, 33k. So I might go a little bit smaller, like maybe like 12k. Then turn is deuce, big blind again checks. I still see no indication of strength, so I keep like betting with my like top pair, top kicker. Maybe I can get like calls from like weaker queens, or maybe get another call from like, I don't know, pocket eights or something. But the big blind folds. Next one, just bluffing with nothing. I have queen jack of suit on big blind, middle position raises to 13k. I call because I get like a good pot odds. Flop king 5-2 with like 2 spades. I check, middle position bets 12k. I decide to blast it and raise to 30k, but get a call. Turn is a 9 with a second flush draw. I decide to keep blasting, just trying to represent a king. Not sure if it's that a good idea. I already got a call, so it looks pretty strong, and like middle position can easily have a king, like ace king or king queen, or maybe even like aces or kings. So although probably like queens or jacks may like go away. So yeah, I think honestly, like I would probably next time just give up on the flop, because it's good to bluff when you have some like equity, at least like, I don't know, some like gut shot with a backdoor flush draw or something like that. Otherwise, it's just like you need to succeed quite a lot for it to be profitable. And with backdoor equity, it gets like much better, because sometimes you get there and like then can actually win quite a lot of money. So then on the river there is an 8, closing the second flush draw. I decide to just like give up and lose versus aces. This one is about getting the straight. So I have like 8-6 offsuit on big blind, middle position raises, and I call. I'm not sure it's that great of a call. On one hand, I want to defend on big blind very frequently. On the other hand, it's just like offsuit hand, which is a kind of bad. But it's still somewhat connected. So I think in a tournament it might still like be an okay call. So flop is jack 7-5. I check, as I would do with probably my entire range. Middle position bets 12k and I call. I can like check raise, especially given that like my opponent doesn't like have that many nuts in their hand. At the same time, I don't want to get like jammed on and like forced to fold. So in general, I like to play those draws like pretty like passively, just until I get there. Or like if I'm an active player, I can keep betting them, but I would rarely like check raise, unless maybe I have like a really good draw, maybe like flush draw plus gut shot, or flush draw plus like a banana straight draw, and I'm just can go all in, or maybe call an all in bet. So turn is a 4, bringing me a straight. I check again, hoping that he would keep blasting and like the board is pretty safe, and like lead would like look odd, but Maybe sometimes it's not bad because like opponent would get confused and like put me on like something weak and fold. But at the same time, if it's like if he has something like ace queen, or like king queen, or even like a jack, he may just like decide to bet again. But he may fold on like with all of those like high cards without a jack, or maybe even like fold like nines or tens. So, but on the river I can get something more done. So it's a 9, and I decide to bet big just to extract a value. I expect to get called by jack, maybe like 10s or 9s. I don't think like high cards are calling here. But they're probably not calling as much anyways. So I probably need to bet only like 20k or so to have them stick around. So I was hoping that he has like a decent hand, and looks like he had. Bluff 3 bet. I have ace 9 offsuit, middle position raises to 16k. I 3 bet to like 40k, and he calls. I think this is like kind of in the bottom of my range. I'm not sure it's like it's that good. So like to hand to VP. It's a blocker, yes, but maybe I think I maybe should stick to like more like ace 10, ace jack, and 3 bet bluff them instead. Sorry. So, and I think ace 10 seems like better to play post flop. And also like suited hands like ace 10 suited or ace 5 or maybe ace 4 suited are like better to bluff here. But yeah, let's see how it goes. So flop is king 9-5 with a flush draw, middle position check. I decide to continuation bet because of like there is a king, and like I would want to bet my strong hands here. And like I don't know, like I think like default hand people may put you on is like ace king, so it's like fits pretty nicely. So yeah, I bet and win, and let's go to the next hand. Yeah, this is a pretty interesting hand where like I bluffed with a blocker. So I have ace 5 offsuit with ace of clubs on cutoff, raised to 16k. I think in the like cash game it's probably still a fold, but in a tournament, because like raises are smaller and there is ante, I think it's like a good raise. Small blind calls. Flop is jack 9-3 with 1 club. As Badges decides to lead for 16k, I don't trust leads much. And also, like when I look at defense frequency for like, I need to do something with aces, I think, because like I don't have many like threes in my range, so I probably hit this flop maybe like, okay, let's even say like 30% of the time with like some like jack or 9, and maybe another like 10-15% with some kind of draw. So, and if a small blind leads like this, so the pot would be like, so what, 16 plus 16 plus 16, 48k. So small blind would only need like 25% success rate to have like a break even bluff. So I need to defend at least like 75% of cases. So that's why I think like aces should come in, or some other like bluff hands should like be there and like maybe raise. So I decide to raise. Small blind calls. So at this point he probably has some kind of a draw or like a weak hand. Maybe even like a 3 or like 9. There may be, of course, some like stronger hands available. A turn is queen of clubs, and it checks through. I decided that since he called, he like has a higher chance of calling than another bullet. So I would say there is a higher chance that he has at least like a jack or something after proceeding. Maybe not as many threes, but maybe 9 would also like stick around, because similarly to how he's like lead kind of bluffs and or may bluff and doesn't have to bluff that doesn't have to succeed that frequently to be profitable. I think similarly I can like raise leads, and this is more like also a standard that people can raise leads. So he may also decide that I'm okay. I might be bluffing. So let's see. River is 2 of clubs. Small blind bets to 40. I think it can be more like a standard that hey, oh hey, you haven't got anything. Um, so I have an ace of clubs blocker in my hand, so like it's less likely that the opponent has a flush draw, or sorry, flush. Um, but I can represent a flush, like hey, yeah, I was like maybe bluffing, or like had like a backdoor flush draw, but then got there. Uh, so and also my stack was getting like kind of shallower and shallower, so I thought that okay, I may need to like do something. It's actually not super shallow. Um, like well, still like 25 big blinds or so, but it's not super great. And I thought that like my opponent didn't show as much strength, so it's like a good opportunity to like try to take it down, and I succeed. Opponent later told that something like he had like a set. I'm not sure I believe him, but like, yeah, who knows? Because he needs to bluff catch, and like this like uh, running clubs is like not as likely combination of what I can have like in general. So for example, if when I raise, it's more likely to be like some kind of a jack or maybe a draw, like maybe maybe like jack 10 or something, queen jack. So I don't know. I'm probably not folding a set on his spot for like for that amount of money. Um, so it's just like people gonna do weird like bluffs too much. But I think my reputation may have helped here. That was like still like relatively tight. Um, so yeah, let's get to the next one. So I have king 9 of suit on button, just probably standard raise. Big blind calls, flop jack 5-3. Big blind checks, I bet, and big blind calls. I actually don't like this bet as much because, like, I don't have any, like, I don't have a nut advantage, and big blind has all like, 5s and 3s. So I don't have that much of a range advantage because, like, it's only, what, there's only a jack. So if it's maybe was like, I don't know, jack 10-3, then I think I would have a range advantage. So, and king high might still be good. So opponent may hit the board only like, I don't know, 30-40% of the time, if we like, depending if you count draws. But there are not many draws available here, so I think I just should check. Turn 9, yeah, it's a check, and I check because I just got a like some like medium strength hand. I just want a cheap showdown now. River 7, big blind bets 8k, one big blind. So easy call, but I end up losing to 9-3 suited, 2 pair. But still, it's a good defense from like big blind because given all the like the pot odds, so like you call all suited hands. Next one is aces versus jacks. I kind of got lucky here, so I like see a raise for 16k. I 3-bet to like 40k. I think the blinds are bigger, so 3-bet is like 2.5k and 2.5x in position. And Razor thinks and goes all in for 200k. I call, he shows jacks, and I win. I think he probably didn't do much wrong here. I don't think you can get away from jacks with like 25 big blinds. Especially I need to consider that 3-bets can be like bluffs. So he's probably having like a decent equity here, or also can be against like ace king, ace queen, which is he's flipping against. So I think he probably has like 50% of equity or more, and like it's just kind of unlucky. So he needs to think of me as a nit, but I don't think I play as a nit. So yeah, I think it's just poker. All in is a full house. I have king 5 of clubs on big blind, early position raise, 2 callers. I have an easy call here. Flop is 5-4-4 with 2 diamonds. Checks to the button, who bets 24k. I decide to just call because I don't have like a nuts, but I can try to represent like a 4 because I'm on a blind. But also I can be like just behind hands like, I don't know, pocket 7s or something. So I decide to just like call and like play it safe, and also there are like some high equity draws available, like maybe like, I don't know, ace jack of diamonds, which would like stick around. So I don't want to just like blow up the pot out of proportion. There is one more caller. Turn is another 5, so it's like jackpot for me, giving me like an effective nuts. I check again. I think like maybe like button would like blast again. Then maybe I can like check raise. Although it's potentially like a good card to try to bluff. Or like represent a bluff rather. Because like, hey, yeah, I got a 5. I'm gonna call with you like 7s now or something. And I think many players would do, but they would probably just like check behind if I don't do anything. Then river is 7 of diamonds. I decided to go all in, like hoping that like opponents would try to bluff catch me with some overpair or like with a flush. I'm not sure it's like that good of an idea now, because they probably just like don't have that many like hands that can like really call all in, because it's been like a big overbet. It's had like there's been like 150k in the pot or something. At the same time, when like it gets called, it gets like a huge payout. So I'm not sure if it's like how like bad it is, but I'm like kind of telling that I probably got a 5 because like flushes would not really bet here, or maybe bet like small. Another possibility was to check and try to induce a bluff, but like I think like pairs like 8s, for example, they would probably just like check again. So I think next time I would probably just make like some kind of small bet, or like medium-sized bet, in hopes that like some overpair or like flush would like call me. Blind versus blind, I have 9-7 offsuit. On small blind, I just limp. It's not so terrible that I want to fold, but also I don't want to like raise because it's kind of still bad. Flop 9-3-3. I just decide to bet 10k because like I don't have much equity from this hand. I'd probably bet like a lot, and I can reasonably represent like 8 or 3, and big blind has like nothing like 70% of the time. But I get a call. Still, like for example, ace high would probably call. So I like, but I don't think like people would have like a high enough defense frequency. Turn is a 6. So I pick up a draw. So I decide to just like keep blasting, just to play that aggressively. But I get raised, and now I'm like kind of forced to fold. That's kind of unfortunate. That's probably another like argument that why you can like try to play draws like more like passively, just try to get there, because it's like I can just treat it as some like equity, and like a raise would just blow me off that equity. That said, like maybe like I could force like ace high to fold, but there is a good chance I just got into a 3 or something. Let's go next one. Yeah, so that's been like a hand I probably should have played differently, but let's see how it went. I have king jack clubs on under the gun. It's a raise. Get 2 callers, including table chip leader and like big blind. Flop 10 for deuce with like 2 of clubs. So big blind checks. I think for me, I have a strong draw, like flush draw plus like overcards maybe also good. So I think it's a standard spot to bet. Um, like I think, let's see, if do I have a not advantage? No, not really. Do I have a range advantage? Also not that much. So I just need to bet my strong May hands and draws. So speaking of sizing, it's like about 70k into the pot, so I probably can go a bit smaller, like maybe 25k. So chip leader calls, but big blind goes all in. It's not super big all in, but puts me in a tough spot. I think I can like reasonably call big blind if like chip leader wasn't in the equation, because like he's maybe just like has a 10. He may have some flush draw as well, like maybe 5-3 or like I don't know some ace X. I'm not in a great shape against ace X, but also like it's only like one of hands, so I think like 10 is actually like more kind of more likely. So they're just like more tens, and he would defend like pretty wide. And even against like two pair, I still have like maybe like my 30% or so equity. So I'm definitely like calling, but I was really afraid if I just called and chip leader may just like push all in, and I would be in a really tough spot. So I tanked for some time and folded. Now that I think of it, I think it's probably like a good spot to just like a repush all in. I may get like unlucky sometimes versus like some set, but even versus a set, I'm like I'm still getting pretty good odds. And if like table chip leader, yeah, table chip leader also folded, so like I would probably like work out for me, but I could never know for sure. But again, like thinking of a table chip leader, he's like probably he doesn't have like 10-4 or something, so I probably only like need to worry about like some sets. And like flush draw doesn't get a good like odds to call, and he like faces two all in, so he'd probably even like fold in a 10. So yeah, probably I don't need to be a wuss. Just like ship it there. Top pair bet kicker. It's probably the standard of a spot. Let's see how it went. I have like ace deuce offsuit on big blind and call a raise. It's probably pretty standard for a tournament. Flop is ace jack some X with a flush draw. Again, I check, as I would do is probably my entire range. There is a bet of 16k. I have an easy call. No need to overplay my hand with a raise. And it's probably good enough to just like just call down. Turn is a king. I check there is a bet 32k. Again, I don't see a reason to fold. My hand might as well be good, but I'm start worrying about like where it's like I don't know, ace 10, ace queen, ace jack. So I think they might have decided to bet bigger because of a flush draw, but also like yeah, it doesn't have to be that way too. But then the river is a king with a third to a flush. Again, I check and face a huge bet. I decided not to bluff catch. Honestly, opponent probably doesn't put me on a king because I only can have like what, I don't know, king jack or something. Or like ace king would probably 3-bet pre-flop. King queen, maybe king queen of with a flush. But yeah, he's really saying that he has a strong hand, so it's like pretty polarized bet. I think a good question to ask, what should be the bluff catchers here? And I think it just should be like some stronger aces. Of course, I'm not going anywhere with kings, but like ace 2 offsuit is, I don't know. I may just like often end up versus this like very strong hand, so I don't see that many bluffs. So the board is scary. Like there's a second king, there's a flush came in, and I've been like calling, and I think for example like check call is like consistent with just a flush draw. So I think if I were my opponent with like say ace queen, I'd probably just like check and try to see if I'm good. Um, so what? I think like tens or something. It's probably gonna be too scary for them to like blast a turn. So I don't really see many like logical bluffs. So I just gave my opponent the credit. So maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was like king queen, but then it got there. Like, yeah, queen 10, it got there. Queen jack. It's like you need to put me on like some weak ace, so pretty much a hand I exactly have, and to try to like blast me off. Um, but I don't know. To be honest, I think because his bet is so polarized and it doesn't really matter which kicker I have, because he probably just doesn't have an ace a whole lot in this spot. Well, except like maybe ace king. Um, so yeah, maybe I should have just been a calling station and like called. Um, but again, it's like third card to a flush, like two kings, and just hand seems like pretty weak. Trying to hero call. I have Jack 10 of suit on his bet and call a raise. I think that's actually a spot where, from what I've checked from the charts, I should have just folded pre-flop, because like it's not a big blind, and also like offsuit hands are not that great. So flop is queen 10-7 with two hearts. I check. There is a bet of 24k. Again, it's like one of the better flops I could hope for, so I stick around. At the same time, I'm not super happy about that queen, because it like fits the range of my opponent pretty well, and also like 10 is also not that bad. It may be like maybe like ace 10 or like king 10 suited, like are still like beating me. Um, Jacks can beat me. But then again, turn is queen. I check, there is a bet 72k, and I end up calling again, because I thought, okay, it's maybe like lower chance that opponent has a queen now, so maybe he's like bluffing more with something like ace king. So let me call. Honestly, I think like, yeah, it's kind of how it kind of spirals out of control. I need to bluff catch sometimes, but like I would probably like rather bluff catch with something like ace 10, because he might just like, I don't know, keep blasting with ace 10 for what I know. Um, and I still lose to a bunch of hands, so yeah, I'd probably should just fold. River is a 10 of hearts, which is an interesting card, so it gives me a full house, but I'm still like losing to a queen. So I check and bet 70k. That's pretty inviting, and that's kind of a problem. So I don't need that many like success rate to call at the same time. It's just like it seems like a milking bet. It's hard for me to fold. So again, he's in position, so he could have checked, and probably like with a flush he would just check behind. With a 10 he would probably just check behind. So there isn't a whole lot, so it seems pretty polarized. So maybe he would just like kind of blast it with ace king. But again, ace king is like still gives him like ace high, and you can just see if it's good or. And some of my pairs, like I don't know, eights, nines, just get like counterfeited. Um. So yeah, I'm probably beat, but I still called, and like yeah, lost to ace queen. That's again, that's like one of those cases when like just good pre-flop could have like avoided all this hassle. And there is another reason to avoid this, is like just strategically we have been like getting closer and closer to the bubble. So if I just like sit around and like don't do much, I might as well just get into the money. I shouldn't like just don't do much, but like avoiding marginal spots, which like puts a lot of chips at risk, is seems like a just definitely a solid strategy. I don't know, maybe in the early stage of the tournament, some people may decide to like gamble and like try to build a large stack or bust. But like here, when this bubble approaches, it doesn't seem like that good an idea. And then a flop in a flush, yeah, it just speaks for itself. I got lucky, call a standard call of a raise on big blind and got a nut flush. Again, I check and try to see if my opponent has something. I bet 12k, or he bets 12k and I call. Turn is another ace, which I was pretty happy about. So again, I decide to check and see if he like keeps blasting. He may keep like blasting with some flush draw, like a queen or jack flush draw. He may like obviously have an ace, which I'm hoping for. So he bets like 55k. I go all in. So I'm thinking if he has an ace, he probably calls, but maybe he just had a good read or like just didn't have an ace. So being on a good draw, I have like 7-5 of diamonds on big blind. Early position raise is 21k, cutoff calls, and I have an easy call. Flop gives me a flush draw and a gut shot. So I check, early position checks, and cutoff bets 25k. I just call. Again, I like to play my draws more passively in general, but actually this is a case where I can probably just like call all in, I guess, or like raise and maybe call all in. There's some chance that like, yeah, so ace of diamonds is on the board, so like various like all-ins from like a nut flush draw like less likely. So yeah, I think I should have raised here, because what happens like, yeah, turn is a king, that doesn't bring me anything. Then I check, and cutoff bets are very large to like discourage me from continuing. So it's yeah, it's not great pot odds, and I think my all-in just gets called at this point. So yeah, should have raised on a flop, I think, or like just do a lead, and then if I get raised, just like go all in. That may be even better, given like stack sizes. 3-bet and fold. Yeah, that's not super great hand, and I'll explain why. So I have king jack suited on small blind, button raises 25k, and commenting it's the first time he got to like raise a button. So I think I can just 3-bet for value, but then I make a mistake. Then like I have like 300k or so. So like this 3-bet is like about a quarter of my stack. But button just quickly goes all in for 300k. I think given all the pot odds, I probably should have called, although there's been some ICM pressure. But I probably still should have like stuck around and like hope that he has like some like smaller pair or like ace X. But I was just afraid of being dominated. I really tanked. I got like clock called on me. So and ended up folding. So I think it's like a kind of a bad play out. I think one possible play is just to go all in pre-flop myself. It's not that many blinds. It's like what? About, so 300k. It's like 25 big blinds. Yeah, it's not so much. I should probably have just went all in like pre-flop or just call. But this kind of 3-bet and like fold, it's just like puts me in a terrible shapes, and I would need to take some marginal spots later. Calling with ace high. So you have ace jack on early position, raise 24k and get a caller. Flop is 7-7-4 with a flush draw. So and I don't feel great about my like range or nut advantage, so it's just not there. So, and I think like ace high may be good. So I just decide to check, and it checks through. Turn is a 5. I check there is a bet 20k, and I just decide to call because, well, opponent may just try to steal a pot after like my 2 checks. River is a king with a third to a flush. I checked, there is a bet 35k. I ended up like hero calling. I thought like opponent again may keep just like blasting it. I was almost right, except he like got lucky with a king. That said, I don't know. I think like river is probably a fold. Just because of like like sort of a flush, and I think king can be like a helping hand to like what opponent could call with, like king queen, king jack. Um, so yeah, I think ace high just wouldn't have that many like odds here, and also small pairs can also kind of value bet this. Um, wait, oops, what's going on with this? Okay, yeah, so that's speaking of like getting into marginal spots. I just like lost a big chunk of my stack, so now I gotta like play with some like bad hands. So I think according to charts, so I have like what 12 big blinds. So I think like queen 4 is barely like off the chart. So I think queen 5 offsuit is like what you push on a button. So I decide to go all in anyways. Big blind makes a call with ace 6 offsuit. I think generally it's a good call because I push with a bunch of junk. I get lucky though, I can win, but still my stack is still not like super great shape. I still need to like double up to get to the money. Then here I flopped a straight. Again, standard like raising standard call. There's a flop with two hearts. Not super happy about the hearts, but like I still check as would do with my like entire range, I think. Um, and especially I like expect some bet because there is some ace. Early position bets to 22k. I decide to like not slow play it because of like a heart can kill an action, like 3 or 4 can kill an action. And I think that if he has some strong ace, maybe like ace king or ace queen, he may just like decide to go all in on me. So then I got into marginal pair spot, got 5-4 of clubs on middle position and just raise. With like a shallow stack, I don't know if I should raise this, to be honest. It's what, like 25 big blinds or something. Um, Maybe not too bad given like also like money in the pot and like post flop playability. So flop is like 10, 8, 7. So I don't like my spot, so it's like pretty coordinated board, and I don't have many nuts in my range. And I don't have really have a range advantage. Um, so and I don't have any like draw or make except gut shot, and I would prefer to have like at least like open ender to like bet. So it checks through. Turn 5 is bringing a flush draw. Big blind bets about 30k, and I call. I think now that I think about it, I should probably just fold. Because of like all the like overcards. So big blind maybe just like having, I don't know, king 8 or something, or like just any 8, but really any suited 8, or like 7. I'm just losing to that. So I think I should like bluff catch, but it should be like maybe like something like ace 8, 8 9. Also probably like 8 9 is something I'm like betting on a flop, so it's probably not really in my range. But yeah, it's kind of marginal, and even like different 5s I'm losing to, like maybe like ace 5. So river is a 2 with a third to a flush, and big blind bets 200k. Again, like yeah, I fold, and I don't think I should just like call because there's so much stuff that beats me. Also, kind of some 9 can be like a bluff. So again, I always like look for some opportunities to call, but I think this is like not a good thing to like bluff catch with. So I would have a plenty of bluff catchers in my range. Like I said, like ace 8, like 9 8. 10 is probably just good for like value. So yeah, and then hoping for a 9. That's been like my final hand. I'm in the middle position, raise, get one call and lose player. I think it's the same player as like a, or actually no, it wasn't like a previous table chip either, but it's also like a guy with like a lot of chips. He like 3 bets to 83k. I thought he might try to like bully us. Um, at the same time, I think his raise sizing compared to my stack indicates that he's like calling my all-in. So I just like decided to gamble and hope that he just has high cards, but unfortunately not. I get called by like 10-10, and I don't get lucky and get eliminated. Yeah, tough spot. I think like if I looked more that he doesn't leave himself like fold essentially, I'd probably just discount bluffs a bit. But at the same time, it's like like 20 big blinds. Yeah, it's probably still a stack I can wait for a better spot, to be honest. Also, I'm not sure, maybe like if I fold nines, I get like too exploitable. To like 3 bet. Um, so yeah, it's a bit of a tough spot. All right, that's gonna be it for me for today. Unfortunately, I didn't end up making the money. I think if I just didn't take some marginal spots, could have gotten there. But that's a part of poker, part of learning. So thanks everyone.